please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we'll start with roll call. Let it reflect that we are missing Carolyn Netto and Susan Burmeister today. And we do have a quorum. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from October 27 regular board meeting and the October financials and accounts payable.
I move to approve the consent agenda from October 27th meeting.
I support.
Any errors, omissions, or corrections from anybody? Okay, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Public comments. Does anybody here want to address the board?
Yeah, good evening. Just want to know, have they done a student count yet for October? Do we know if we gained students, or is that coming?
It's not official yet, but it looks like we're gonna be up 3-ish, just a couple, up a couple.
Sorry, I don't.
Better than down. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Kind of holding steady.
Okay. And I just want to let you know that Denny Belmonte and Drew Bartos are going to NCAA football playoffs against Wisconsin lacrosse on the 29th.
Oh, wow.
And the Panucci girl is waiting today for volleyball to see where they're going. Cool. So all those teams are nationally ranked. And my daughter Avery's coaching at Hope, and they're going down to Spartanburg. First time that those teams, men and women, qualified. So it's been kind of fun hanging out with Hope.
Heck yeah.
Thank you for that update.
Yep.
Okay, moving on in the agenda. We move on to committee reports, financial. Ben?
Sure, we just met prior to today's board meeting, as we do prior to every board meeting. Pretty uneventful finance committee meeting. Went over, of course, our usual accounts payable, general fund, general ledger, across food service technology, funds, sinking, and capital improvement fund financials. Everything looked great. Looked at our October bond report. We're about 60% through that bond right now, so it's looking pretty healthy. So it's good that we can make our dollars stretch, which is important. And everything looked in order.
Good, thank you. Academic affairs, who's got that one?
I do it. Academic Affairs met on the 11th of this month. We got an update on the MTSS, the multi-tiered systems support.
All right,
I
Lisa.
got that. Award that the elementary got this year, and they have been getting, kind of the standard award for this, but got some extra accolades for putting that information into use. So this comes in, looks at behavioral data, utilizations, referrals to the office, screening, and it's been improving, and they were recognized for that. So that was great. We also had a very good discussion about the AP offerings at the school, and just how great our students are, and for such a small school, how many classes our kids take. There are 13 courses, 71 students. They took 133 AP tests. So many of them are taking multiple classes in the AP realm. We talked a little bit about how maybe to grow that, and potentially looking at just innovative stuff with collaborations, or trying to add some AP calculus that as well. So it was good discussion and good problems to have with our really motivated students. We talked about the Norse advocates that met this week. They were going to talk about, got an update on the strategic plan that and things were that have been done to progress that, and everything is coming along well in each of those categories. So it was a very good meeting.
Thank you for the update. Next up, we're on to presentations. I thought we had a tag team situation.
We were supposed to, but he's out being a father
He's
today.
playing dad tonight.
Okay.
So,
This is a camera and overall building security update by Paul Henderson, and would have been our resource officer, Noah Robert, but robot.
I'm gonna do that from here. That's the wrong one, this one. A little history of our cameras. I inherited that system when I got employed some years ago. 15 years ago. We had about 40 cameras in this building. That's 210,000 square feet. So over the years, we've improved that. We've got over 100 and maybe 20 to 30 cameras now, and gone through process of like adding a second server for more storage, which create its own complications, because you might have door one is on server one, then we had a blind spot that we filled, so that's on server two, so you'd have to connect to one and connect to the other. This whole process of getting better coverage and better film has been a long process. And was it last summer or the summer before? I think it was this summer. We went to a unified security system with Genetec. Replacing our badge system and integrating that into our camera system all at the same time. So we all have a one-stop place for everything. And this system is what Michigan State implemented after their 2023 incident, and Western just implemented this same system about a week ago. So.
there's Cody out in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
Where's he supposed to be?
In the hallway right now. Yeah. He's keeping an eye on it. He's keeping an eye on the new bathrooms. Right
So
now.
I gave I'm not going to go through everything on the cameras here. I just want to kind of give you a preview of what we do have. So our intercoms are now part of our system where we can see when somebody badges in, we're actually recording that space so we can see that. On top of that, when a door is open, we can see if that door is open or shut. If somebody were to walk through door 16 right now, this symbol would open. If it were open for more than 10 minutes, we get an alert. So we're now proactive on everything that's happening on our systems here. And as we go through things, you'll see like this is kind of awkward. I'm picking on John Allen for this one. I chose him intentionally. You can't quite see, but if you zoom in on our cameras here, you can de-warp the image, and now we can see everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So
much clearer.
this is a decent financial way to get this amount of space covered, because this is such a large location, right? Ideally, we'd almost have 8 cameras in this location, but this has allowed us to get 2 in a certain area and de-warp. So, moving forward to our systems here though, we've also set ourselves in the ground of being able to move forward with AI. Not every camera has the same capacities. These fisheye lenses don't have the same engine built into it. Whereas some of the new cameras here, we could say, look for the white shirt, or, you know, and it would find a film. And if Cody were to walk through the hallway right now, it would go camera to camera to camera, knowing who he is. Maybe not Cody, for example, but this is the same person. And it would automatically export a footage for us, so we can see if a student's not where they're supposed to be, or whatever it is the incident is that we need to track. So these are all of the new capabilities up and coming, and we have already set the groundwork to have it all set. And then there's new features that we really haven't even gotten into. Like I said, we do monitor if there were any propped open doors, alerts that we could see them here. On top of the doors, we can remotely unlock them. So I could open up, this is by the superintendent's office right now. And lastly, this is something I really haven't shared out with the staff. I'm still building it because I have to change the actual physical blueprint of our building. This is now where the new bathrooms are. But we can see there's movement in the high school gym right now. I can come in here, I can click on it, see that door shut. I can click on the left click maybe, and it'll pop up a mini preview of all these things. So this does take up a lot of resources on the computer. And what else did I do? Oh yeah, I started to show you, if it will catch up, like I said, the resources, the angle in which this camera is viewing. So we have a bird's eye view of the whole building and everything that's happening. So it's a little intense, and now this is frozen up on me, but that's okay. It's just a little laptop. It's not made to be streaming and doing the recording and all these other things all at one time. But
The biggest thing we just wanted the board, we put a big investment into school safety, and the cameras have been a huge part of that. And the quality that we have now compared to even 5-6 years ago is so much better.
from about a 2 megapixel camera up to 5 for some of the lesser ones, up to 10 for some of the big areas.
We have exterior cameras that NMPD has used at different times. If you see around the school, we're gradually trimming some bushes and trees and other things. There's a little method to the madness with that, not only to make things look better, but under the guidance of NMPD, they're like, that shrub's got to go so that camera can go the whole length. And so much better view and much better quality. Another thing to blow Paul's horn and Noah's, they've gone through the whole building and renumbered our cameras. So now there's a sequential order to, as you're coming in a door, the different cameras. And so now on the computer, compared to the blueprint, it's much easier to track if you want to follow a situation. Where before, like Paul was saying, you had to bounce around, and now with the new numbering system, and I think you guys put the
We
number
also
on
physically labeled every camera, because originally when cameras were put in, those details, we don't want anybody to know what those details are. We put a number on it. So if there's an incident, we can say camera 5, we need to look at camera 5, because it's not supposed to be secretive, right? We know there's cameras, and it's easier for us to now find that incident. So, there we go. So the system froze out there for a little bit there, because the map is still being built, and it creates a lot of resources on this laptop. It just couldn't handle doing everything at once. So
over in the back cave, you had plenty of computers.
I do, yeah, but setting up all of this for this little presentation was
It gave a good. It was good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that update.
Thanks, Paul. That's cool.
Next presentation is Mrs. Netcott. There's a little typo. It's not the 2025 trip, I think. It's the 2027.
No,
Well, they're going to talk
No.
about the.
Oh.
Yeah. So
they
You
went
better
on a
talk
trip
about-
this summer.
Okay.
So we're gonna first just take a look at some pictures from our trip from this past summer. We had a great time. We went to London, Paris, Milan, Florence, and Rome. And I asked 2 of the NM students that were on the trip to come with and share a little bit about this. So they're just some pictures from the beginning. I'll tell you, I had a lot of fun putting this together with all the pictures. I cut myself off, but there, we could have kept going for sure. We started in London, but we saw lots of things in Europe overall, and I probably have a third of them in here. It was a 10-day trip. There were 21 of us from this area, and we went to 4 countries because I counted Vatican City as a country as well, and we had so many memories we couldn't even count. We started in London. We did a walking tour of London. We toured the Tower of London. We tried some interesting food. We got to walk to Buckingham Palace. It was a great time. In the Tower of London, we got to meet the Beefeaters, which I had no idea what those were, so I certainly learned that, you know, back in the day, people that were especially taking care of things actually got to eat beef, and that's why they were called Beefeaters. But they now are just, they get to answer questions there. We had some very good stories there. This was outside of the Tower of the London Tower. There's Marissa, my niece Madeline also went on the trip, and that's her. She and Marissa had a very good time together. I asked to see the London Bridge, and they said, "You're not saying the right thing. You really mean the Tower Bridge." And they were right. I did mean the Tower Bridge. I thought that was London Bridge. It was not. So we learned, and it's right outside the Tower of London. That's why it's called that. Then we went to Paris. We took a speed train. We went through under the Channel, which you couldn't really tell, except you were just underground, but still it was a cool experience. We got to see the Palace of Versailles, which was a huge, just so big. We couldn't even fathom it. Of course, there we have our famous, we got a great spot to see the Eiffel Tower. We went to the Louvre. The third one is in the gardens at Versailles. You could spend days there and still not hit all of the gardens. We did some group photos. My daughter went to Montague High School, so she came along, and then some other of her friends from Montague also joined in our trip. So we had some of my relatives, some North Muskegon kids and some Montague kids. It was a fun experience mixing them together. They did really well. We were a little concerned, but it turned out really well. Again, the Gardens of Versailles, we just could have taken a lot of pictures. I know Tracy's gonna talk about that a little bit. We did a lot of walking around. We got a lot of steps in every day. We had some swollen ankles towards the end and some sore feet. And then we made it to Rome. We went to Milan for a day. We did a little bit of shopping and a food tour, which the kids loved. There were some weird foods. We tried them anyway. And then there were some delicious ones at the end where we were getting really full. Yeah, that one had like noodles baked into it, then it was cut like pizza. It was, yeah, it was very interesting. I'll just say that. In Milan, we got to do some shopping around this area. Yeah, we only had a couple hours, so we didn't go inside this. We did go in the Notre Dame Cathedral when we had a chance. And then I just put at the end, so our group from Michigan also paired up on the tour bus. We had a group from New York and a group from Kentucky. So that picture is in front of the whole Palace of Versailles, and that's all of us together. That was our entire group. We were on the bus together regularly. Even though we mostly stayed with our group, we still got to meet them. So, and then what I just asked was, I'm gonna ask Tracy to speak last and finish. I asked each of the kids if they would share one thing that was their favorite thing and one thing that they learned on the trip.
I learned a lot about like the different cultures there and just how people in different countries live their like day-to-day life like different compared to how we do in America. Obviously just like everything, like the pace they go at, the food. And then my favorite thing was getting to meet so many new people because I knew Copeland, but that was pretty much it. But I made really good friends with her niece and all the Montague kids, and I think the trip just really helped me like branch out.
I think I learned a lot about like the different kingdoms and like what was different about them and like the governments that they had and like when they changed over, and then like their first like original like governments that they had and what they compared to what they have now, which we're actually talking about like in government class right now. So and then something that was like I enjoyed was like the bus rides. After we could talk about it, I think the bus rides were pretty fun because we talked about like what we did with like the people that we knew, and then we become closer.
Okay, Tracy.
Well,
And if you want me to go back, you let me
no,
know.
that's okay. You really hit much of what I was going to say anyway. That's beautiful. One thing, and I didn't share this picture, but I picked three things. to highlight on. And one was that Copeland and I went 2 years ago as well with Bernadette to Spain and France, and we were able to meet up with 2 of our former exchange students who are both from Spain. And so that was an amazing experience. And the one exchange student was our exchange student before Copeland was even born. So he got to meet him, excuse me, for the first time. He met us again in France because though he's from Spain, he works in Paris as an occupational therapist. And so he met up with us one evening for dinner. And then when we were in Rome, Rachel's most recent exchange student came and met up again with her family. And it was just such a cool experience to have kids that have been in your life. And even though we weren't exchange students, we were just being able to meet up with them again. I just thought it was such a really, it's just an awesome experience. So we introduced everybody, and everyone was welcoming. The experience, I cannot, I could probably take the rest of the night just to go educationally. It's so profound, the trip, on so many levels. Just as a traveler, as a mom, as a teacher, you're looking at all these different aspects, like the money exchange and the culture, like and as minimal as even food. Food is so cultural, and it's something that's we often take for granted. But then when you're in other cultures, and it's just what the norm is for us versus others. And then for the things like historical, like I don't know if that was in there, but when we're at the Colosseum and we're walking on steps that are stones that they're saying, like, these are the original, it's outside the Colosseum, the original stones. These have not been touched for 2,000 years. And they said actually underneath here are the stones that are original from 9,000 years ago. And it's just like, you have your walking history, and I'm just like, this is so amazing. In Versailles, the corner picture, and that's fine too. It is, and I think it's just, you cannot explain what Versailles looks like in the gardens. And I told Rachel that I thought when she said we were going to this, it was like an added piece to Versailles, the palace where it's King Louis XIV and Marie Antoinette, and so we get all that historical piece, and there's all this gold and everything. But then, because he loved the sun, and so there's lots of gold, melted gold, and on the building. But we go to these gardens, and I don't know, I guess I've seen pictures, but I could not imagine the magnitude. And so I'm with these 4, I have 3 of us from North Muskegon, and our Ethan is from Montague. And we started off, and the boys were like, wow, this is amazing. And I was like, this really is amazing. So then we take some pictures, and we go to this, we said, well, let's just explore a little bit longer. So we go over to the side, and it just kept opening up. It was like just an envelope that just kept rolling out. And at one point, one of them says, I'm speechless. And the other, somebody else tags on there, literally, I cannot even find words for what we're seeing. And I was like, to have teenage boys express that, I was like, this is such a golden moment. This is so amazing. But it was so true. And we kept on going on. And then we started talking about, I started with like, can you imagine like Marie Antoinette walking out here in her big old gown and everything? And then there was this pause, and they're like, well, she probably didn't walk out here. She probably was carried out here. And then I went, well, she probably wasn't carried out here. The horses probably came and picked her up. And then we were like, well, the horse like stables were massive too. And then they had all these scenarios and the storylines that the boys were creating as we walked along, and it was just such a beautiful moment. As a teacher, I think that would be one of my top moments as a teacher. It was just such an incredible time. So, but the things like the kids come back with an appreciation while we're there. Like when we're on trips, we can stop anywhere in the United States for the most part and go potty, right? You can use restrooms like at a gas station, at a store, or whatever, and you don't have to pay for it. And so, in Europe, that's a different mindset. You pay for every time you use the restroom. and you have to find a restroom. They're not accessible. And if you do find one, you might be in a dungeon, or you might have to go 4 stories high and still wait for a half hour long, you know? And so it's just all the, or drinking water, accessible drinking water. It's just, though, what we seems little are those appreciations that the kids come back, and last time and this time, I had, both times were boys, say, wow, I'm never gonna take for granted again the things I have. You know, it's like, yeah. And then even like air conditioning, and those are like little things, but it's just the appreciation coming back and realizing there's so many things that we do have that we can be grateful for. And as Copeland had stated about like this, the history, when we're there and you look at that this building in Versailles, for example, one of the things, it's more than twice the age of our country. And it's just trying to conceptualize, you know, how all of this was done, and our country is half the age of just even the building itself. And it's just such a cool thing for the kids to experience, for the adults to experience. And just the rich history. I think that was appreciation that it's just hard to, I mean, put into words. The art, the architecture, food, culture, people, and as Marissa mentioned too, just the pace, to appreciate how others live around the world.
And we just want to say thank you.
Yes, I was gonna say, and thank you. Thank you for supporting that, and the times that the kids have, we've talked about our experiences and all the extra questions you can answer on Jeopardy now. So
That's a spectacular update, thank you. Do we want to talk about 27 now, or do we wait until it's up for approval?
We can jump in, then I'll just fill in behind with the policy.
Okay. Let's do that. We're going to move on to new business. We're actually going to skip ahead to item 702, the approval of the July 2027 Yurth Rome Athens Greek Islands.
In your packet, you've got the breakdown of the trip. And I don't know, Rachel, if you wanted to add anything.
Well, we're looking at 2027. We wanted to offset with the band choir trip as well, so that it would all be on the same summer, and that gives people time to do fundraising and figure things out for that.
This is the same group.
It is. It's through the same company, EF, yes.
And that was a good experience too,
Yes,
the way they managed the trip.
They did. They were very helpful. We all had a wristband that had a number we could call 24/7 if we got lost or away from our group. But the tour director that we had, just really so full of knowledge. She was pretty strict at first. We were a little shocked initially, but she did a great job, kept us in line, got us, you know, there was a time when things weren't working out, and she just went right up there and took care of it. I don't know what she said because it wasn't in English, but she got it all straightened out, so that it was, yeah, very good company to work with.
Great.
And I would like to just add, like, that's some people will look at EF and say it's a little pricey. It is pricier than others, but the piece that you have traveling because of those kind of things, I definitely think it's worth it. And even like something like when we were in the Vatican, when we went into the Sistine Chapel, we were broken into groups of 6, and we were all split up very randomly. Copeland's group did not have the best experience, and they went through like the museum and everything within, it's supposed to be like an hour and a half, and they were out within less than 40 minutes. And meanwhile, Marissa and I and Rachel were all together. We had this amazing experience. We get out and we're talking about it, and they're like, our tour guide had actually met the kids. She saw them come out the exit, and she said, "Why are you guys out?" And they said, "Look," they said, "We're done." And she's like, no. She's like, that is not the tour. And so she got a hold of whoever that was their guide, and that was reported because she's like, that was not acceptable. And so I appreciated that because we wouldn't have known any different.
Right. We thought it was great.
Right, ours was great, and theirs was very much cut in half, and so.
I think the emails on safety, I would mention that too. Like they said it's a Jubilee year. We're really worried about whether you're gonna get in to see the Coliseum. They let us know that in advance. And they just said, hey, we noticed there was a shutdown in Paris 6 months out. We're just letting you know we're gonna keep on top of it. If for some reason you can't go, we're gonna provide something else. So I thought the safety was really very key.
Nice. Before we bring it to a vote, I want to thank you for, I'm sure it's no easy task to.
It takes some work.
Yep, and thank you for providing the opportunity for our kids, so. Any other questions, comments from the board? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the July of 27.
I move that we approve the July 2027 Europe trip.
Support.
Okay. We'll just take it to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Now we're gonna back up. We have new business item 701, the second reading and approval of 24 policy updates.
Yep, in your packet, you guys have seen these. We did not get any additional questions, and they can all be approved at the same time, Steve. Yeah, we didn't get any questions, so I'm assuming that everybody was good with them. They were all pretty cut and dry type things, so that's not surprising that it was a fairly simple policy procedure this time.
Any questions
Thanks, guys.
or any other things? Thank you guys very much for your
Thank you.
report. Okay. I could use a motion from somebody.
I move to approve the policy updates as noted in our packets.
Support.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Okay, we're on to board comments. Would you like to start, please?
Sure can. Thank you, Paul, to students and everybody for the wonderful presentations. It's a very fun board meeting. Very fun new things. Again, extending congratulations to Johnny Allen and the elementary staff on the MTSS award. Congratulations to all the students, and thank you to Jen and your staff for the beautiful academic awards that took place last week. Always such a great thing to see so many of our students achieving high academic work. Seems like everybody's there, so that's really great. And also thanking Phil Friesner and most of the students and a lot of the staff for a wonderful Veterans Breakfast. And my dad attends every year, and it's just one of his favorite things. So it seemed to be very well received by everyone.
Thank you, Paul, for all the amazing updates. It's bananas how well you can see everyone. So that's fantastic to know. Thank you both for taking our kids and being willing to do it again. I think that traveling and being like immersed in another culture is one of the most like beautiful things that we can do as humans. So thank you so much for doing that. I'm gonna be a little self-serving for half a second and talk about my grandfather-in-law who we had a celebration of life for this past weekend. Ken Winter was an amazing man. If you grew up here, then you probably bought a lot of random stuff at Winter's Variety Store. Yeah, bottle rockets, clothes. I don't know. I've heard so many weird random things that were sold at that store. And then even after the store closed,
he was just such a big supporter of this town and of this school, always supporting Norse athletics. Most recently would be contributing to the baseball complex. Even his last wishes, he wanted, instead of flowers, he wanted donations sent to the Norse Education Foundation. So he was just a great guy, and I am proud that I got to know him for the time that I did, and yeah, he did great things for all of us. So just wanted to pay tribute to Ken.
I don't think that's self-serving at all.
Like I told Lisa, when I read his obituary, I could smell the store. Like it just had such a really memorable. It was awesome. So my condolences to you and your family. Thank you for the presentation. It was fantastic. I went to France the summer before my senior year, and like watching you guys in Versailles and at the Louvre, and it just brought back all those memories and how cool it is to see it as a teenager. And it just kind of like sets that perspective in your life as to like what you want to do. So thank you for sharing that with our students. Thank you, Paul, for all the updates. I know it's a ton of work that you guys have been working on for a long time, and the safety of our students is so important, and I appreciate that. I want to say congratulations to all the students for National Honor Society and all of our student athletes who excelled on and off the field this fall. It's always incredible how many students we have that receive such honors for what they do. So proud of them and proud to be a Norseman and cheer them.
Everything's been covered. Don't I have any fresh ideas to bring out? Thank you very much for your efforts. Thank you for that update, and it's very reassuring to understand the efforts we put into the safety of the kids inside these walls and out too. So, thank you. That's it.
Yeah, good updates all around. Love the opportunity. I think is more. I didn't get to travel abroad until I was 30, and I just loved it. Like I was a wanderlust ever since. So I'm glad the kids have that opportunity and love to support it. So thank you for that. Love looking at the pictures too. Somehow I want spaghetti for dinner tonight. So thank you, Paul. Maybe body cams on teachers, is that the next step? Or?
I hope not.
That was pretty cool.
Our teachers know it's just
No, Genetech does support body cameras as evidence-based. You can just add them in.
No, but that, I think when I came to the board, my main focus was security, and that's, I feel very reassured and confident that we have that covered as best we can. So thank you. And yeah, everything else was covered. So thank the board for teeing that up.
I have 2 plugs to put in. For those of you that were at the Norse Ed Foundation function recently, you know how awesome it turned out, and great attendance and good publicity for our Education Foundation. Huge thank you to Christy and the team that put that together. But and the team that put it together, but huge amount of work by Christy, and it was a great event. So and then the other thing, I just wanted to let everybody know that the Norse Advocates, we're at about 25 parents that get invited, and usually have about 15-ish or 16 that show, and the concept is to give them information that they can help us spread the good words that are good things that are happening here at North Muskegon. And the last meeting last week was awesome. There's so much energy in the room, and a lot of people that just really, really care about this school. So it's, and one of them is Leanne. Thanks for being there. One of them's in our audience today. But so that's all I had.
Anybody have anything else? Meeting adjourned.
Thanks for approving the